Obviously, Purdy is a hot topic around the NFL. His stats speak for themselves. He's been fucking fantastic. There's just no way around it. Every metric backs it up. The results back it up. The eye test backs it up. There's an element, and listen, it's no different. Tom Brady went on to be the greatest quarterback of all time. They drafted him 199. The Patriots got very lucky. They were passing on him over and over and over again. The team that took him passed on him over and over again. You get lucky when you hit on a star, just in general in the third day of the draft. Seattle, Richard Sherman, the Niners with George Kittle. It's on steroids times 100 when it's a quarterback, which there's nothing wrong with being lucky. Every human has to get lucky in any industry you're in. But I think when you look back that he got talked out of the Mac Jones situation, and he's gone on record now as a 2-horse race. And I think what he doesn't really say is like, yeah, I was leaning Mac, and then we kind of did it. Like, it was Mac for Kyle. That would have been, the guy isn't just a whiny little brat. The things he's done now of hitting people in the nuts, rolling ankles, like, you're a fucking clown. Like, say what you want. Ndamukong Suh used to stomp on people. At least Ndamukong Suh could like back it, like he was a big time, like elite player, right? You could even argue he underachieved a little bit, but like Ndamukong Suh was a dude. Mac Jones, who the fuck are you? And if anything, the type stuff Kyle likes in players is the opposite of all that crap.
Mac Jones also,
I said it at the time, and I will. It's aged well, but it not only would have been the most arrogant pick of all time, it would have been the least talented guy. Like, say what you want about Zach Wilson, when you watch him run around and just sling a dart, he does have talent, right? Like, Mac lacks the talent, guy. Like, his comp was like, oh, Cousins. Cousins was a 4th-round pick because of his physical limitations. And the thing with Mac, and it would have drove Kyle nuts. Like, Purdy is athletic. Mac, I'll just turn into Mahomes here for a minute, Bill. And it's like, what are you doing? It's like, well, he doesn't have the talent around him. Well, just fucking throw the ball away then. That's like Manning and Eli's thing, right? Just play smart. If it's not there, you just got to live to play another down. Mac thinks he's like he's like Dame Lillard out there shooting from half court. Like, what are you doing?
But I think you hit it on. I want to go back to it. The problem, if the Niners had drafted Mac, wouldn't just have been that he wasn't good enough. Because Kyle said even if we'd sat at 12, he wouldn't have been there, which means Kyle would have been over the moon if he could have got him at 12, right? If you guaranteed Kyle Shanahan, he could have gotten Mac Jones at 12. He would have sat at 12 and taken him. You agree?
And then Micah goes 13th?
Yeah, but you agree with that, right?
Say that one more time.
You could have guaranteed Kyle that he stays at 12, he gets Mac. Would he have stayed at 12?
And not have to give up the 2 other ones?
Yep.
Yes.
And drafted Mac Jones? And the problem wouldn't just have been that he wasn't good enough. The problem would also have been, it turns out, that he wouldn't have fit in. He's not their type of competitor. He's not their type of leader. That turns out is the other problem with Mac Jones that we didn't even consider. Right? You thought, oh, he played for Saban. You got to be a tough SOB to play for Nick. But it turns out he would have been a bad culture fit too. Trey was a better culture fit than Mac Jones would have been.
I saw Albert Breer.
They actually took the best culture fit, John, of any quarterback they could have taken outside of Trevor Lawrence in that draft. Zach Wilson would have been worse. Fields would have been worse. Mac Jones would have been worse.
Albert Breer said last year.
So they kind of nailed it.
Yeah, he was on with Coward like last week, and he said that last year veteran players had to, and it's pretty easy to figure out who it, the McCourtys, the Slaters, basically had to kind of sit down back when he was like doing some of his ankle, like embarrassing the franchise.
Ankle biting.
What the fuck what are you doing? It's one thing to miss on the player. They missed on Trey Lance, whatever. At least he carried himself and conducted himself like a pro. I respect that. Mac Jones, I have no respect for the Mac Jones experience. Yeah, it hasn't gone, it's like, well, I'm playing for Patricia. It's like, shut up. Give me a break. Thank God. I mean, look at the way Purdy conducts himself.
Exactly. And how he interacts with Kyle.
Even after he got his arm ripped, because you'd be like, well, everyone conducts himself well when it's going well. True, like most people do, right? How about when it really got shitty and he tore his arm? Just the way he carried himself, it was like, God, that's totally understand why everyone loves the guy.
And they brought in Sam Darnold.
Unfazed. You see them? I saw a clip yesterday. They walked in together to the locker room on Sundays. Maybe they drive to work together. Maybe Sam picks them up.
They did walk in together, I think, too. Yeah. Yeah, but it turns out
if Sam picks them up on the way to work.
Look at all these sideline interactions, the things we've seen with Mac over the years. Dayball was throwing a tablet at Daniel Jones last night on Monday Night Football.
Hard to blame him. Hard to blame him. To the side.
How did they I just can't get over they went from Eli face to Daniel Jones face. It's just incredible that they went back to back, those two guys.
It's crazy how big Daniel Jones is.
Huge.
He's
Ben McAdoo apparently said on radio today he had a 7th round grade on him. Like, Ben, that's also an incorrect grade. He's not a 7th round. He's better than a 7th round pick, bro. I wouldn't puff your chest out about grading Daniel Jones as a 7th round quarterback.
We can argue, probably like a 2nd round player, shouldn't be 6. $85 million is definitely rich, but he's a starter in the NFL.
And he's an extreme athlete, right?
Underrated part about his game.
Flav says, for $10, appreciate you. Love Brock, but if we need a quick score or have to throw, and the D knows it, what do you think Brock will be like in those moments? Only scenario, his arm strength and our own line could be an issue. We still have a lot of Brock's career to go and season to go before he proves a lot of things, but I trust him to make a quick decision. Like, I think he's proven he's very good at a quick decision, which is all that's about. Like, it's not so much about his arm strength as much as it is truly handling pressure. So that'd be my response to that.
I think they're going to get rid of the ball fast. They're going to run a lot of, I think that wide receiver Debo screen is going to get utilized a lot. I think a lot of wheel routes to McCaffrey. I think a lot of getting the ball in and out, and not the throw chart of Derek Carr, right? Of just like, bro, what are you doing?
0.4 air yards, John.
Sprained shoulder. Probably it's like, this is what you're going to do. Don't play him. What are you guys doing? But I think getting rid of the ball quickly. I saw this clip. Papa was talking about the bomb to Ayuk, the 7-step drop, and I guess one of like JT O'Sullivan's big thing is like anti the 7-step drop, which I
Aldi had a breakdown on it too.
You got to be careful. 7-step drop. If are you playing like TJ Watt or is Khalil Mack got 5 sacks in the game? Like, there are certain teams and certain times in the game when you can do it. Though I don't disagree that it's a risky move, right? If you're going to do that, it does put with how many great pass rushers there are. I don't know if I'd do it this week. I think it's the opposite, unless you get your scheme chance. That's the other thing. This is the type game historically. Let's just assume it's going to be close and the Niners aren't just going to win 30-15. There are going to be 2 or 3 times during this game when they're going to get the Kyle schemed Dwelly blocks, breaks off wide open. A fake pitch play where Ayuk fakes the block and goes deep that they're going to have to hit. Because that is a big difference, I think, in some of the Jimmy moments was their completion percentage on those felt lower than it should have been on the wide open ones.
Yeah.
And I have much more faith in Brock hitting those. Now, he's missed a couple early in that Rams game, right? Schemed open shots. I think it didn't matter in that game. I do think in the Eagle game, in the Cowboy game, in the playoff games, that's ultimately probably, to me, going to come down to the difference. Like, are they the Super Bowl champs? Or did they get upset in the second round by the Cowboys? It's like, they're fucking there. It's football. It's hard. I mean, there's no, speaking of Harbaugh, right? Like, I'm watching college football, like, could this be his year? I keep, like, this is wide open for him. And you're like, I couldn't bet on it.
It won't be, John.
Because he had his opportunity last year against TCU and he let it down. Yeah. The 49ers they didn't really get to have their opportunity last year. And that's where it feels like this team is good enough to beat anybody.